What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of FitBizU. I'm your host, Jill Coleman, and today we are going to talk about trolls. We've done some episodes on this before, but it's been a while, and I have a little bit of new context for you guys. But I wanted to name this episode How to Respond to Meanness, Snark, and Trolling, which feels like it's kind of at an all-time high. I think there are definitely there's a lot of tension, especially politically right now. And if you're on things like X, which I'm not anymore, but I am on Threads. You just see a lot of people. Like it's just really easy to respond with like a snark to anybody, anytime. And it's always odd because to me, it's very rarely a business owner. I mean, sometimes it is, but it's very rarely a business owner because typically business owners are also putting themselves out there and they realize what it takes to do that. I always say that it's easy to criticize and it's infinitely harder to be a creator because, and you guys know this, if you've, been listening to this podcast for any amount of time, if you've done something like FBA or you've started your own business, you know that a lot of times the reason why we feel scared to start our business is because what if we do get called out? What if we do get people saying something to us? What if we do get, judgments or trolls or hater comments and things like that? And, I do think it's a little bit of a rite of passage. You kind of have to go through that. I don't know one successful online business owner who's not had any trolling comments, but especially if you go viral on social media, you will definitely experience trolls. And if you're using paid traffic, right? If you're using paid traffic and you're bringing people in either on your actual ad, if you have an ad that's doing well, it's getting in front of a lot of people, then chances are you keep running it, you're going to get more and more comments. And of course, you can respond to them right on the ad if you want to, but you're also maybe using ads to build your email list. So some of the people who come onto your email list, maybe they just don't know you as well. Did have an instance of this. We actually have an SOP at JillFit. An SOP stands for um, a standard operating procedure. I think most of you guys know that. But we do, whenever we get a snarky comment or a mean response to our emails, we don't respond to them. So a lot of times, like, because we use a lot of paid traffic, right? So we have a lot of people just coming onto our email list all the time. I mean, every single day we have people being added to our email. And we don't respond and we just go ahead and unsubscribe them. So Morgan, who's in the inbox, knows that that's our SOP. And we don't give any fuel to the trolls. We don't try and understand them. If someone is on my email list and clearly is not getting value from my email list because they respond something sort of snarky or literally just mean, then we don't have time for it. And we delete the email, don't respond back, and we actually go ahead and unsubscribe them from the email newsletter. And this reminded me because Maestro, as you guys know, Dr. Shanti Cofield, my business partner, one of my business partners, she posted something on Threads that I thought was really apt for today's episode. She said, "You're always free to do as you wish, but hear me out. If a person can't take the time to have a profile pic, you don't need to take the time to respond to their ridiculous comment. Honestly, it's like a bot. Why we in these internet streets feeding the trolls and fake accounts, starve them." Now, if someone doesn't have a profile picture, yes, it's like there probably is a bot, but honestly, like a lot of times people just don't have them. And these are the people who are the biggest trolls on the internet are people who do not have a profile picture. And it is strange to think, or it is strange that we let an account like that is literally has nothing to do with us, maybe it's not even following us, get under our skin. And I do tend to think that if we're sensitive to something someone says, it's probably because it's something we're already maybe feeling a little bit self-conscious about. Or maybe we have a little bit of imposter syndrome. We're like, "Oh my God, am I even good at this thing?" And then the one person who says like something to the effect that you're not good at it, we really internalize that quite a bit. And so I think, like, for example, if there's something you're really good at and someone makes a snarky comment, like you just know that it's like you kind of just brush it off because you're like, that's objectively not true. But if someone says something that gets under your skin, chances are it's because you have your own sensitivity around it or insecurity around it. And that's okay. Like there's nothing you should need to do in that, but just realize that if you have a response, usually it's because there is something there that maybe you're feeling a little bit insecure about. And again, you may still feel imposter syndrome just because you don't have that much experience. And I think that's normal. But there's only one way to get experience, which is to keep going and keep doing it and get over this single troll, call out, whatever it is, because you have to keep going in order to get better. So like right now, whenever I don't know, if I get a comment about business or whatever, like I kind of just, I'm like, okay, bro, because I have the receipts, right? I've been doing this such a long time. Like I know my methods work. I know I've gotten a lot of people results. So if I get something like that, I'm especially from like an account that's just like a bot account or something, I'm like, this is not, it's an immediate delete and ban. But I do think that as you grow your email list, as you grow your audience, as you grow your social media, if you go viral, you're definitely going to get this. And like I said, I think it's a rite of passage. Now, one thing to remember at a 30,000 foot view is your confidence will trigger people, period. Doesn't matter, especially if you are a woman, your confidence will trigger people across the board. And that is just normal. Not only you trigger men, but you will also trigger women. And again, that doesn't mean you need to change anything, but just realize that if we see someone in their confidence and in their power and showing up in the way, doing their work, their purpose, their passion, it doesn't sit well with everybody. Now, chances are, if you are someone who is also confident, when you see other people confidently being good at what they do, you're like, fuck yeah. Like, that's how I am. I fucking love strong women. I'm like, hell yeah. Like, say that thing, do that thing, show up like that. I love it. But a lot of people don't, and it can be very polarizing. The other thing is your success can be polarizing. If someone is trying to do something you've done, they will automatically, and I get this quite a bit. I think, not like I get it quite a bit, but people who I do get trolls are people who want to have the success that I have. And I'm just going to say that to you guys. And maybe that sounds braggadocious or maybe that sounds egotistical, but it is. It's always from like, it's either from trolls or from other health coaches. And it's like, it's fine, and I understand that. I definitely went through a period in my time where I looked at people who were more successful than me and I was like, do they, and I like evaluated, do they deserve their success? Like, look at what they do wrong here. Look at how they're, like you just have that feeling because they're and without even meaning it. Probably if someone asked you, are you jealous of that person? They probably wouldn't even say yes. But there's something about their success that is triggering to you. There's something about their confidence that is triggering. And again, this is just normal stuff, but it is to notice it. Not only is it useful to notice it when we do it to other people, but you have to remember that people's responses to you are always, always a reflection of them. People's responses to you are always a reflection of them. Somehow you are saying something and it is making them feel some kind of way. Again, especially if it's the internet, someone who doesn't know you and you don't know them. So you're literally putting out a message to thousands of people or hundreds of people on the internet, and someone is taking it like it is a personal message to them. How could you ever control that? How could you ever control that perception? Now, a lot of this stuff is sort of intellectual, right? We can talk about this, and as I'm saying it, you're like, yeah, that makes sense. It doesn't always stop the emotional hijack moment that we get when we get something like that. Realize, and sometimes it's really unfair because there's something called the negativity bias. Probably maybe you guys know this, that I think it's been shown in research that we can have like up to like 7 to 10 positive comments that are nice to hear, but it's like that one comment from that one person that makes us forget the 10 other comments of people enjoying what we're saying or finding value in what we're doing. It's that one comment. So the negativity bias is that the one negative comment out of thousands or hundreds or dozens is the thing that we pay attention to. And I do believe on some level that all humans don't feel good enough. I just do. I just think it's the human condition. Whether you want to call it a sensitivity, whether you want to call it an insecurity, I just think it's like on some level we don't feel good enough. Now, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I don't think that anyone feels 100% confident all the time. So if on some level we don't feel good enough, then if we do see a negative comment, that's the one we pay attention to the most because we go, oh, maybe they're right. Maybe I'm getting found out. Or we do the opposite where we just go on the defensive. And to me, it's the same thing. Like becoming angry and defensive and all that kind of stuff because of a comment is like, it's getting you just as riled up as if someone gave you a nice comment and you're like, thank you so much, right? You're giving them the same attention. And so I do think that typically, if it's something we're already sensitive to, or it's just a negative comment in general, we're just going to give it a lot of mental bandwidth. And as much as we shouldn't, it's normal to do that. So here's what I do just logistically when this happens. Like I said, we have an SOP at JillFit. If an email comes in that is just blatantly mean or it is just, snarky or whatever, we just delete the email, don't respond back, and we unsubscribe them from the newsletter list. And we're basically like, cool, we're fine not having this person on our list. For whatever reason, they took an email that went out to tens of thousands of people personally, and they just want to put me in my place. and that's fine, but I don't know why they're on my email list. So we take them off. That's an SOP across the board. I don't need to hear about it. Morgan takes care of it. It's all good. For when it comes to social media, obviously, because I'm on my own social, I delete it usually immediately or I hide it. This is typically for someone who's just mean or ill intentioned, or you can just tell this is someone who's not adding to the conversation in a constructive way. I do sometimes give people the benefit of the doubt. So if it's someone who's been a long time follower, or it's someone who just is like more, if a question or something, maybe they're asking something, and I'm like, even if in the back of my mind, I'm like, this person's fucking trying to troll. Like, they're just person is just trying to like get a little bit of a rise out of me. But it could go either way, right? So I do believe that giving people the benefit of the doubt, if it makes sense for you, would be fine. I think sometimes we come over the top because we make an assumption that this person is being an asshole when maybe they just genuinely have a question. They might be like, oh, that's interesting. I don't understand that. Or that doesn't make sense, right? Or can you explain a little bit? And we might take any kind of challenge, any kind of comment as a challenge. We're like, this motherfucker, like we just think that they're trying to be, they're trying to try us. When in actuality, they might literally be like, can you explain this a little bit more? Now, I do think there's tonality and there's emojis that you can put to soften things. But if you give someone the benefit of the doubt, you might just say something like, which part did you not understand? Or which part did you need clarity on? Or which part was confusing? I think just put a question back in front of them. And usually they will either like respond in kind or they won't respond at all. And or they will show you, right? If it's a snarky comment back, then you're like, okay, I knew it from the get-go. Fine, I can just delete or hide this post or this comment on social media. Or if the person responds back in a genuine way, then maybe it turns into a nice conversation. So you could, if you wanted to, give them the benefit of the doubt if you feel like, you know what, maybe this person just truly is confused. And I really care because I want to, because I'm always looking at it like, and this is what I want to talk about here in a second. If I'm looking in a comment section, I am usually responding to a comment or a troll because not for them, right? Especially if it's someone who's a troll, like your response is not, it's only going to make them want to come back over the top, right? It's never going to change their mind. But I'm usually responding for everyone watching and anyone who reads the comments because I want to be in my integrity. And I think this is really important because the only thing I can do is take care of my side of the street. So if it is a blatantly mean, obnoxious, rude comment, you can just delete it or you can just hide it, and that's fine. But if it's someone trying to be a little maybe curious or maybe someone who wants to have a discussion and you're willing to do that, you can go back and forth. You don't have to, obviously, it's your own post. You don't have to do anything you want. But all you can do is take care of your side of the street. You guys have heard me say this before. I always want to be proud of anything that I say or that I write on the internet. And that's important to me. It's important to me that I know that I was in my integrity. It's important that I know that I showed up with kindness or understanding or empathy if I can deploy that. Until someone shows me otherwise, I'm going to try to do that. And so I can take care of my side of the street. And I really try to, what that means is that I always filter it through how it's being perceived. How could this be perceived? And by the way, you guys, this is not manipulation. I'm not like, okay, I'm going to talk shit behind someone's back and then be nice to their face. I'm like, no, I genuinely want to understand why I'm getting an emotional hijack from this. And I genuinely want to be curious or I want to act in a way that makes me proud. And that's anything. That's like whether I'm saying it to my bestie or I'm talking to the team or whatever. I mean, I would have no problem having our team meetings be recorded and put on the internet because that's how we operate all the time. And you operate in your values, then you're never trying to hide anything or be someone different. And that's really important across the board, especially having done business for as long as I've done it. Like it's just too much work to try and switch it off and on. So it's like what you see is what you get. So taking care of your side of the street. And then also remember that trust that your followers are already on your team. I think this is one of the biggest worries is if someone does leave a trolling comment and then you don't respond back, that people will then pile on. And I noticed this especially in the beginning of my online business was I was so nervous that if I left it there, that other people would start piling on and then everyone would turn against me. Right? It'd be like, "Oh yeah, Jill does not she doesn't know what's what when it comes to nutrition." Right? And then like all of a sudden people pile on and they're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And then you kind of lose the battle. But what I started to notice and what started to happen was I realized that my followers were there for a reason. And they were always going to choose me over the troll. Like, why wouldn't they? I was giving them much more value. They've been with me for much longer. They weren't going to immediately jump ship and join a troll's point of view when like they were like they're here for a reason. So trust that your followers are already on your team. So if they do see a comment, chances are like they're going to go to bat for you. They're not looking for ways that you're wrong. Chances are they've already had a win with you. They've gotten value from you. They maybe even gotten a transformation with your content. So they're probably going to defend you first or more. Your followers are there for a reason, unless they're hate following, which like most people are not. They're not looking for ways that you're wrong. They're not looking for chinks in the armor, right? They're looking for like, okay, they want to be on your team. So let them. And oftentimes, like almost 100% of the time, my followers will actually respond to someone before I do. And, it's funny, I see these people with these massive followings who never respond to comments, and they get a lot of negative comments. I do think that there is a threshold that once you're above that audience wise, either you don't read your comments or it's just too much to care about. And I never thought that because people be like, oh, I just never read my comments. I'm like, how is that possible? But I did have a thread go viral. This is months ago. I had a thread go viral and there was literally thousands of responses, and it was definitely, some people were like on my team, but it was about women getting older and doing things like Botox and whatever, and it was kind of a polarizing thread, and that's on me. But there's a lot of people who agreed with what I said. And then there was a lot of people who were really mad, right? Like the like just age, don't care about how you look as your age, just embrace it and whatever. And it's like, yes, do definitely embrace it. But also like, sorry, but I'm probably going to get Botox and I'm probably going to lift weights and I'm probably going to get facials and I'm probably going to, try to feel like I look better. And it doesn't mean I need to be young or 25 again, but I want to like how I look. And I'm not just going to like let my hair get gray if I can go ahead and get it. And I'm not saying this for everybody, by the way. This is my personal opinion. It's nothing to do with this episode. So anyway, that was a thread. It was very polarizing. My fault. So, but I remember there were just so many fucking comments that I just started ignoring it. Like I just started, not that I wasn't even interested. I was just literally like, they're all saying the same thing. They're all on one side or the other. And I don't have any interest in reading these. And I just let it go. It's very liberating. It was kind of like, just let people talk amongst themselves. It almost like I lost control of the thread. And so I could see how some of these people who have massive followings, they don't even try to manage any of it. They don't even read it because it's just too much. And they're letting people in their comments section talk amongst themselves. Like it's almost too much to manage. And so I do think that if there's any silver lining, it's like maybe at some point you'll get too big. You'll get so big that you just can't actually pay attention to any of it, the good or the bad, by the way. And so that was a really interesting experience for me because I actually felt a lot of like, I just felt detached from the thread. I felt like zero need to defend my side of the street. I just let people talk amongst themselves. And it was kind of really liberating. And so I could see how if you do have a massive audience and you're getting tons and tons of comments all the time, that you would just let that go. So again, I want to have this conversation because not everyone is nice on the internet. It's really easy to hide behind a screen. It's easy to just like blatantly do a drive-by commenting. It's really easy to just respond to a quick email and just like, say something kind of mean, like, cause you just think, well, this person, I don't know, like I just feel that I'm on this email list. So I just feel like I have the right to, and they do, right? They have the right to. Anyone has the right to say anything to you anytime. I just think it's gross, personally. And I'm always surprised when it is like a health coach or it is like another professional, because I'm like, you're trying to do this too. So like, that's weird to me that you would do that, but whatever. I mean, it's not that I don't have feelings about certain folks or I don't have feelings about certain influencers. I certainly do, but to take the time to do it in a public setting or to do it like to someone's face, to me is wild. But some people do it. And so I do want to have this conversation because there's so many ways to reframe this. There are a lot of logistical things you can do, but I do think that there is a rite of passage that you kind of have to go through if you do want to have more attention on your post. If you do want to go viral, this is part of what happens. And I always say that if you're not saying shit, then that if you're not doing shit, no one's saying shit. So in a way, when you are getting more troll comments, you are going viral and you are getting more people riled up, in a way, you are making waves, because if you were just vanilla, no one would give a shit. So if you're not doing shit, no one's saying shit. And so it's not that you should like necessarily embrace it, but also I do think that this is a rite of passage. I think all of us are going to go through this if we haven't already. And as you continue to get bigger, just realize that you will be more up on a pedestal and people will have words. You'll be more visible. That's what I always say, you guys, you can't want to have a successful online business and hate attention. Like, part of it is the fact that you will have more attention. That's probably what's going to build your business for you, is there are more eyes on you. And of course, again, like I said, you can't control it, but your success is going to be polarizing. Your success alone, you can be the nicest, sweetest, kindest, warmest person, but your success alone will trigger people. Your confidence as a woman specifically will also trigger people. But y'all, those are not the people. You will find the right folks for you. If you're listening to this and you guys are in FBA, like, we're all besties. Yes, I'm a little snarky on the calls, and yes, I have a little edge to me, but you guys know, like, at the end of the day, I'm here for you because I want you to have success. Yes, I have a little tough love. Yes, my voice can get a little in your face and direct, but at the end of the day, I am the kind, Shantae always says, Shantae's like, people don't know that you're the nicest lady ever. I have a lot of patience and a lot of empathy. And yes, do I tell it how it is? For sure. But at the end of the day, I want you guys to be successful. And the people who matter the most, like your clients, will also want you to be successful. And they will not be turned off by your confidence. They will not be triggered by your success. They want that because they want to be a part of it. And they care about you and they care about their own transformation. And so they want to be there. It's good. All right. So hopefully this is helpful for you guys. A couple logistical things you can do right there. Just want you guys to know how we handle it on our end, and also to know and just normalize that this is part of building. And if you are getting this, chances are you are making waves, which means that you are building your audience and that you're just getting more people who maybe don't know you quite yet. If you're going viral, if you're growing your audience quickly, if you're using paid traffic, and it's not yours to manage, you're sending something out on the internet to tens of thousands of people, hundreds of people, and you can't control how it's being perceived as much as you want to. So this is where we get to give up control, and we get to trust that we're just putting our best work out there, and we have to let the chips fall in terms of how it's perceived. Ariel, that's all I got for you. Thank you. If you are interested in learning more about FBA, you can always go to jillfitfree.com/FBA waitlist. It is also in the show notes. It will get you on the interest list for our next round of FBA, which is not going to be opening until the fall. But if you are a more beginner to online business and really want to do it right and want to build your coaching business from scratch, that is the program to join. So details to come on that. But if you guys need anything, you know where to find me, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye, y'all.